Hello and welcome to another episode of the E-Experience podcast. As you can see today, I'm recording differently. I'm recording in video. So now you can see my beautiful face while I talk to you. It's 1 a.m. I'm tired as fuck, and honestly, I'm not sure what to talk about. So I'll just start by talking about my cable setup here behind me. As you can see, it goes, let me, all the way to the door there, and then from the outside it continues. I hung it on a nail at the corner of the door frame. Turn it around once to make it a bit shorter. But yeah, it's a complete mess. But at the same time, now I have a stable internet connection, which is great. I know my recording setup isn't great. My camera is just my laptop built in camera. I'm using a different screen right now because my laptop screen is broken. And yeah, that's about it. Also, the sound quality might not be the same because I'm not recording with a sound only software, and I don't know if I can edit the sound. So, in the end, well, you'll have to live with it. You'll be fine. Okay, I decided what to talk about finally. So, one of my hobbies is that I like to play fighting games on like fighting video games like Tekken and Super Smash Brothers and games like that. So today I'm going to talk a bit about my favorite tournaments I've been to so far. They're all Smash Bros. Tournaments because I haven't been to many other tournaments yet. Just to clarify, the game I play is called Super Smash Bros. Melee. It came out in 2001 in the US, 2002 in Europe. It's a game that still has kind of a cult following and still has big tournaments all over the world, which is kind of amazing. But honestly, it's such a fun game, so I completely understand why it is like this. Anyway, so my favorite tournament so far. My very favorite so far was definitely the one in Alta in northern Norway. Now I posted a few times on my VK that I've been to northern Norway. I've posted pictures of it once or twice, and basically my trip to northern Norway was a bit of a mess. But the tournament itself was amazing. Basically, we were all in a camping ground in the middle of a fjord outside of the city, about an hour away from the closest city. And every player slept in a wooden hut with other players, of course. For example, my hut was for three people, and the three foreigners, the three non-Norwegian people who were at the tournament, slept there. Uh, and in general, the whole venue, the place where the tournament was held, was also just part of this camping ground. It was the main hall, basically, and it had lots of old things that you would see in a museum usually about the old Nordic culture, their clothes made of hide, stuff like that. It was really impressive to see. They even had a full library in there, and then other than that, on the sides we had so many big ass old TVs and just people playing. It was great. Of course, there was lots of alcohol because yeah, if you are gonna do a tournament in a camping ground in northern Norway without alcohol, something's wrong. Uh, we played lots of drinking games. I had so much fun. It was such a great experience. There weren't too many people. There were about 50 to 60 people, I think, who attended. Uh, but it was definitely the greatest tournament I've been to. Now, my second favorite tournament, though, is pretty much the opposite from this one. It was in England, in Leicester, and it was the biggest tournament in Europe of this game that has ever happened. There were 800 participants, I think, or something close to 800. I was obviously part of it. I messed up in the tournament, to be honest. I played really bad, but that really doesn't matter. This tournament series is called Air, and it sadly is now over. That tournament I'm talking about is Air 5, the last Air that happened. And Air, like an heir of a king or someone of a person, like your offspring. But in the beginning, the logo of this tournament was always a hand holding a royal scepter or something like that. But with their fifth edition, the whole PR for it, the whole ads and whatever they made were all centered around it being grassroots. We go out, we drink, We Have Fun tournament, and my god, it was fun. So the tournament venue was a university campus, uh, where the players were sleeping in dorms. I, for example, was sleeping in a room for myself, but many people were sleeping in shared rooms and whatever. Basically, every room that was in the whole campus was rented to us. I mean, we were a whole lot of players, and there were three big halls: one for doubles, that's 2 versus 2; one for friendlies, just matches that are not in tournament, and then one big main hall for pools, for normal tournament matches. You could also play friendlies there, but only outside of tournament time. And they had a huge circus tent in the campus, just in the middle of the campus, a huge circus tent where they would have all their stream matches and the finals and everything. So there weren't too many setups in there, but it was the best place to be, and it was amazing. Actually, I even filmed some parts of, I think, like top 8, I think it was like top 3 or something like that. I might link them later. I'm not sure. Honestly, I kind of doubt that I will do it. I know myself way too well. But yeah, this tournament was basically, you went there on Thursday night because that was the first night you could sleep there. And even though on the first day we couldn't play the game because there were no setups for us, no open setups, on Friday it all really started going down. People were just playing and drinking and eating, and that's basically all they did, and it was amazing. So much fun. Actually, about this tournament, there is one moment in this tournament which is probably the most legendary moment that I've ever kind of been part of. I mean, I haven't really been part of the moment, but I was at the tournament, so I guess I have. It's about a player called El Jefe. Well, it's his tag. His real name is different. Um, and so I only found out about it the day after it happened by just going on Twitter and then reading his tweet longer about it. But as far as it goes, it's that he got really really drunk one night, and I mean really really fucked up drunk to the point where he can't remember what happened exactly. So at first he was just drinking with his friends, and then next thing he remembers is he woke up in a bathroom in the toilets, uh, like a common toilet in the campus, not his room, completely naked, with shit smeared all over his body. I don't know how he did it or why he did it, but he had shit all over his body, no clothes, and no way to exit. I mean, he could exit through the window, but like no way to exit with clothes on. He was completely naked. So what he did is he called the reception. First of all, the people in the reception laughed, of course. I mean, it's a funny situation. I would laugh too. And then they actually were so helpful to get him some clothes or stuff. I'm not even sure exactly what happened first, but yeah, he then had to get out from the window. I think he was still naked. Um, get some clothes, put them on, and then the reception people told him, like, he took a shower and everything, and the people from the reception that helped him earlier, they told him, hey, were you the guy who did that in the kitchen? So he went to the kitchen, the common kitchen again. It's not just the room. No, it's like for everyone in that apartment. It was, from what he said, full of shit everywhere, like smeared everywhere. And honestly, I have no idea how that happened. But in this tournament, I was drunk for 3 days straight, which is the highest I've ever, like the longest I've ever been drunk for. Which, yeah, it was quite a riot for everyone, and I can definitely believe this whole thing. And not only can I believe it, I actually talked to some people who spent the night with him, and I actually, he housed me once when I went to when I went to the Netherlands for a tournament. So it did happen, and it's just such an amazing story, and it just shows what this community is like. Because honestly, the community for this game is just people who drink and have fun. Well, talking about drinking and having fun, the worst tournament, well, not the worst tournament, but it was actually a pretty good tournament, but the worst drinking related tournament I've been to so far was in Malmö in Sweden, because it was really hard to get to alcohol. Well, it wasn't that hard. You just had to take a train, go to Denmark, buy it there. But other than that, it was kind of a pain to get to alcohol. So we we had this whole tournament, and even though we were awake until like 4 or 5 a.m. every day because the venue was open for 24 hours, there was no alcohol at all, and it was so weird. But at the same time, it was good. It was good. People were really playing at their best because they weren't drunk. And people were having fun. The tournament, we had a Japanese top player at that tournament who got completely fucked by our Spanish top player. And it was amazing. It was really great. Generally, I love these tournaments. I love the community. I love everything about them, really. For example, the last tournament I've been to was Awakening 5 in Germany, in München. And that was also a really cool tournament, I'm not gonna lie. I met some amazing people there. I drank a lot. I played drinking games. But basically, all of my friends from the European community were there, and that was just great, and I really, really loved it. So yeah, that's about all I can talk about when it comes to tournaments. I mean, I've been to many more tournaments. For example, I've been to one tournament in Italy where one of the players just brought a cake themed around the characters in the game, like just with like an image of the characters that you could eat. That was pretty Italian. It was like the most Italian thing I've seen anyone do in a while. But other than that, the sleeping conditions were pretty terrible for me because I was housed by another player, and it really didn't work out too well because he was housing 4 or 5 other players too. And yeah, so in the end, I was sleeping on the floor with a dog on the, well, it's not really a mattress, the a thing that you put underneath your sleeping bag usually, but I didn't have a sleeping bag, so I was just straight up sleeping on the floor. It was terrible. It was really fucking terrible. But the tournament itself was fun. It wasn't big, but I love the Italian community. Italians are great in many, many ways. Not always, but I like them. I like Italian community, the Italian community. I like generally just the Italian culture. People are very open and warm and kind of loyal, if you can say that. So yeah, I really like that about Italians. Well, I think this is enough for today. Actually, no, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that's my first ever tournament. It was in Ireland, in Dublin, Schism 2. And I was sober for 1 year before going to that tournament. And well, that changed very quickly there. Uh, it was a great tournament. I've gotten to meet some amazing people there too. And it was my first real introduction to the scene, and I loved it so much. It was amazing. Really, it was great. My first ever tournament match was actually against, it was doubles, so 2 versus 2. And my opponent was the best player in Ireland and number 10 or 11 in the world, an American player who were just teaming there for this tournament. And they completely destroyed me. And I think that's the only video of me playing that there is on the internet right now. And yeah, it was my first tournament. I was playing for like 3 months. I was completely shit at the game. And the only video about me is me getting fucked up by top players, which is really sad. But at the same time, it was a fun experience, a good experience. And now I'm better, and I hope it will stay like that. Okay, but now for real, this is the end. Thanks for tuning in. Tell me how you like it with a camera. I should probably put my hands into the frame because I'm always moving them when I talk. Like I was moving them all the time, but you couldn't see it because they were underneath the frame. Well, anyways, see you next time. See you soon. I don't know. This is episode 5 of my E Experience podcast, and I hope you tune in again soon. Bye.